So I hope that video lesson made sense. Dividing by 10, 100 and 1000 is the exact opposite of timesing. It's just you move things to the right instead of to the left. With that in mind, things could be pretty easy. Now the reason I'm showing you this was because this is the work that I did yesterday on this whiteboard. And what I realised I've done, where's my rubber, is... oh no. Permanent pen. Just in case you didn't know, I just thought I'd share this with you. If you do write something in permanent pen, you get a non-permanent pen, like this one, a board pen. If you colour it in, colour over it, you can then have it out. There we go, magic. And before I show you my help, just a couple of interesting questions came through yesterday. I was chatting to some of you yesterday afternoon. If you can times by... I've done it again. Stupid Mr. Dobson. Right. Okay. Let's try again. If you know how to times by 10 and you know how to times by 100, sometimes they might throw something at you like, how about times 5? Or how about times 50? Or how about times 20? You may think, well, what's that got to do with timesing by 10, timesing by 100, times by 1000? Well, it's actually, if you think about it, it's actually pretty simple. So if I had, let's say, 1.4 times 5. And you may think, well, I don't know how to do that. That's silly. Or is it? Well, let's have a look. We've been doing times 10, and by now, hopefully, you realise that if you shift both those to the left, you get 14. 1.4 times 10 is 14 because the 1 and the 4 just move that way, and you end up with 14. Now, 10 is double 5, so we've timesed it by twice as much. So 1.4 times 10 is double 1.4 times 5. So if 1.4 times 10 is 14, 1.4 times 5 is 7. Similarly, if I had, let's say, 3.2 times 20, again, you might be thinking, well, we haven't been doing times 10, 20, we've been doing times 10. Well, that's okay. Just do 3 times 2 times 10 first. And that's nice and easy because that's 32. Because if you move those across one, you end up with 32. And 20 is the opposite. Sorry, 20 is the opposite. What am I talking about? 20 is double 10. So I'm doubling this, which ends up with me being 64. Because I'm timesing it by twice as much. So 3.2 times 10 is 32. 3.2 times 20 is just going to be twice as much. It's going to be 40. The same works for 50 as well. So if I had, let's say, 0.6 times 50. Well, okay, well, what is it times 100? Let's try that first. 0.6 times 100, I need to move it to the left twice this time. So if I move it once, it's going to be 6. If I move it twice, it's going to be 60. Let's see what I've done there. 1, 2. And 50 is half of 100, so 0.6 times 50 is just going to be whatever that is, but half of it is going to be 30. Okay, so see if you can spot those patterns. However, today we've been having a look at dividing, which is the opposite. The question should be fairly straightforward. In fact, let me show you on the whiteboard again. I've got some little place value holders. So if I pick two random numbers out here, what have I got? 4 and 5. There you go. So 4.5 divided by 10. Remember when we're timesing, if it was times by 10, we'd move them both that way, and it'd be 45. But dividing by 10, we're going to the right. So we're going to go like that. And there has to be something here. It's empty, so we're just going to put 0. If we did 0.45 divided by 10, move them all to the right again. This time we've got another gap again. And we've got 0.045. So let me try this one. If I did 4.5 divided by 100, if it was times 100, we'd move it to the left twice. But because it's divided by 100, we move it to the right twice. So it's going to go 1, 2. And we've got a gap there. So we need to fill in the gaps with zeros. They're called place value holders, aren't they? You end up with 0.045. Okay, so if you had, I'll give you another one, 450 divided by 10, which should be 45.0. That doesn't mean anything, that's not doing anything for us, so we can take it away. If I had 450 divided by 100, it's got 2 zeros there, so I need to move it to the right twice. 1, 2. So I get 4.50. Again, remember, if there's a 0 at the end and nothing else, you can get rid of it. So I end up with 4.5. And then if I had 450 divided by 1,000, 3 zeros this time, so I need to move it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Everything moves but the decimal. Again, I need to take this away because there's no point in it being there. It's not doing anything for us. However, I do have a gap here now. There has to be something here. And if there's nothing there, you can just literally put nothing. If you're interested, you can keep on going with this. What would 450 divided by 10,000 be? Well, you just got to move it across 1, 2, 3, 4 times this time. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, running out of space, 4. Get rid of that 0. I've got a gap here now. There can't be a gap there, so just fill it with a 0. And remember, there always has to be something this side of the decimal, and if there's nothing there, just put a 0. So 0.045. I hope that helps. Let's have a quick look at the questions that you've been set, see if there's anything tricky going on. Now, annoyingly, I was drinking this yesterday. Diet Sparkling Fiery Ginger Beer. Made with the root ginger. Absolutely delicious. However, as you can see by the state of my page, the very delicious Marks & Spencer's Diet Sparkling Fiery Ginger Beer, made with root ginger with no added sugar, I had a wee bit of an accident, so my page is a bit wrinkly now. Anyway, not to worry, we can still maths. Pardon me, let me just carry on, my video stopped there. Complete the calculations and sentences. 140, 1, 4, nothing there, divided by 10. You'd move everything divided by 10 to the right once, so you'd have 1 here and 4 here, 1 here, 4 there, it's 14. When the number is divided by 10, the counter moves to the right once, 1 place value. Okay, these are, in fact, these look identical to the questions yesterday, but opposite land ways. So have a go at those ones. Again, these ones are fairly straightforward. Remember, dividing by 1 is the same as timesing by 1. Nothing happens. Dividing and timesing by 1, nothing happens. Have a look at these ones, and no surprises, I shouldn't think. Yeah, exactly the same as yesterday, just with division. I've never met Dexter before, so I don't know anything about his maths ability. So you'll have to come up with that. I'm not sure if he's very good or not. So you'll have to tell me, is Dexter correct? Dexter is solving the calculation 5,400 dividing by 100. I think the answer is 54.00. Is he correct? Explain your reasoning. I'll let you have a go at that one. Rosie, we all know Rosie. Rosie's great. But is she right? Rosie is solving... do you know what? I used to play golf with her dad. Anyway... Side point. Rosie is solving the calculation 3,600 divided by 200, and she thinks the answer is 0.36. Okay, is she correct? If she is, why? If she's not, I want you to tell me what you think the answer actually is. Okay, as always, I'll set the Diving into Mastery questions as an extension. Well done for people who are getting those done. If you have time in the afternoon and you want to come and see me online, and we can go through some of the Diving into Mastery ones together, that's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to do that, because they're designed for you to take your time over them and to have a think about them and to try and get a greater understanding about what's going on in place value. Okay, thank you everybody. I will see you at 12 o'clock.